निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतभूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ तत्त्वविवेकः कः? आत्मा सत्यं तदन्यत् सर्वं मिथ्येति। So, two steps, discriminative analysis, will lead to knowledge of the truth, Tattva Viveka. So, Viveka is a discriminative inquiry which will lead to the knowledge of the essence of everything, anything, small, big, anything. The essence is just one. In fact, scientists are trying to find, they have discovered this much, that the whole creation, the truth of the entire creation, or the building block of the entire creation, the essence of the entire creation must be a simple. That much they have discovered. It's a unified field theory. So that much they have come to know. That must be one thing which is appearing in this, so close to Vedanta. But definitely they could not come to Atma. It is very difficult because they are searching there. Here the one who is searching is the truth of the thing. So that way a bit difficult for them to find. What is the Tattva? So it said Atma Satyam. Atma is the truth of everything. That is I. Of course, we will see that. Atma is the truth. Atma is the truth of the essence of the everything. And Tadanyat Sarvam. Whatever is there other than Atma is Mithya. And so Satya and Mithya has been introduced, and then we started inquiry that Satya and Mithya are not objects like clock or paper or table or etc. They are not the objects basically. You cannot get something called Satyam or something called Mithya like that. If it is not an object, then what these words denote? So then we said these words denotes the understanding of the objects, not objects as such. And what is meant by understanding of objects? Then we started giving an example of a desk, right? Yesterday. And so let us understand a desk. Desk as such we know. I mean, so that this is this kind of a thing. So, but here in light of Vedanta, we should understand the desk. As such, in Vyavahara desk, you know, it is made of the wood. It's for purpose of putting this or reading something, this, etc. It is made by carpenter. This is also understanding. But here we are trying to go to a little deeper understanding of the desk. So that's then we need a help of a Shastra also for that. So if I ask you what is is the desk real? Because we have to ask only in terms of Satya or Mithya. So then definitely you say, is it real or unreal? If I say, yeah, you say it is real. Why? Why do you say it is real? Because it is existent. This is the answer for everyone. This is existent. So what is existence is real. What is non-existence is tucham, unreal. And well, we start, so then we start, this is called understanding of the desk. Understanding of the desk in terms of satyam or tucham, that is real or unreal. So when you start understanding, I mean, any term, when you start an understanding in terms of a reality, then you are really going to the core of the particular object. So what we say is the understanding of an object is understanding in terms of a reality of the object. That's all. And so that is how we start the inquiry with the desk. And well, of course, we also then understood that there are certain objects which are unreal, like horn, etc. And a human being is there, but the horn on the human being is unreal. Human being is real, existent. That is unreal. So this also is clear in our mind. What is unreal, what is real, etc. also is clear in mind. And these terms called real, unreal, etc. are called ontological terms. Ontology is a subject matter in which one understands the reality of the things. That's all. And according to the reality, you use a word, particular term. If it is real, you use satyam, or a word real, let's say, real. And for which is non-existent, you say it is unreal. So real, unreal, satyam and asatyam or tucham, etc. all is just an understanding of a reality. And that's called ontological term. Satyam, mithya, etc., whatever, tucham, etc., all is ontological term, which just denotes not an object, but understanding of object. Not understanding of object, understanding in terms of reality of the object. Otherwise, other than that, you can write 10 pages about the, right? What is the birth date of this desk, etc. And we can make a birth chart also for this. We can make a birth chart, right, for this. In which grahas this is born, and when it was born, what were the constellation, etc. What kind of a thing is going to face, etc. It may be near the Swami, it may someday, it may go away from the Swami. Anything is possible. I mean, you can, this is also understanding. But understanding in terms of reality of the objects is a matter here. And that's a ontology. Anyway, then we asked further that I asked if this desk is satyam, and then yes, you said it is satyam because it is existent. Then I said, what about the wood from which this desk is made of? If the whole thing is a desk, in my understanding, suppose if I don't use the word wood, you think that the desk is a whole thing. Other than desk, there is nothing. But if I ask you, what about the wood? Immediately you have come to the conclusion, other than the desk, there is wood also in this. And definitely when I say, what about the wood? You don't ask me a question, what is wood? If you ask me what is wood, well, you appreciate only desk and not wood. But when I say about wood, use the word wood, you immediately say, yeah, it's a material out of which this is made, right? And so you know the material called wood other than plastic and glass and whatnot. I mean, stainless steel or any other thing, aluminum, everything. So you understand the material or object called wood, which is from which this particular thing is made of, or desk is made of. Then I say, earlier you said this is desk. So you know object called desk. And I'm a little revising in case I miss something or something. So you say this is a desk, then definitely you know the object called desk. Now I said about wood, out of which it is made. Yes, you say it is there also. So you now know the object called wood also in this. And then two words, two objects, meaningful words. Two meaningful words, two objects, fine, no problem. Then inquiry is no more required. But two meaningful words, but the meaning is one. That is this thing, desk. But you say desk, I say wood. Well, who is right, who is wrong? That's a question. So when two meaningful words are there, for which the meaning is just one, then we will have to inquire. Then we'll have to inquire. And then I ask you a question, because we'll put in terms of question answer only. So the question is, are there two objects here, wood and desk? No, you say. Then further, you don't want to answer, but I say, suppose you weigh the desk and it is, let's say, 40 pounds. Then this 40 pounds belongs to desk or wood, right? Then you say it is wood only. 40 pounds. We are considering a desk in which there is no nail. They make generally furniture, even in India also, without nail. They make grooves and then they fit the things and etc. Anyway, so it's 40 pounds is of wood only. Weight of the wood is 40 pounds in the desk. And then what's the weight of the desk? If I ask you, you say there is no weight. The whole weight of the desk belongs to wood only. Then there are two objects. Every object should have some weight. If wood has a weight of 40 pounds, even the object called desk, because you are seeing the desk and you say it is an object, then that object also should be having some weight. Weightless object cannot be there. Because, see, if you say the object is there, it should have some tangibility and weight. Otherwise, how? Like horn. You say horn. Yeah, it's an object. But you say, Swamiji, it is not. It is not an object because it's a non-existent thing. A non-existent thing would not have any weight. Then here also, it should be the same. If desk does not possess any weight, desk must be non-existent. But in fact, before inquiry, you said, Swamiji, you sit near the desk. You never said you sit near the wood. You have not told me you sit near the wood. So in your perception, desk has existence. And our experience is, if anything has an existence, it should have some weight. Otherwise, it will become like a horn, a non-existent, no weight, no tangibility. Right? Therefore, if that is the situation, one would have used the word simply wood, not a desk. Because you never use the word horn for, never associate the horn with Muktatma, let's say. It's just a joke. So, a non-existent, non-tangible, zero-weight substance called wood, called horn, is never associated with a Muktatma. Therefore, if you use a word other than the wood, desk, in your understanding also desk is there. Please understand this. Because everything is of wood, then also you say this is desk, this is chair, means more than wood you are appreciating something. If you are appreciating something, it is existent. Definitely. And so this is some different kind of a reality. It is not self-existent. Desk is not self-existence. Right? Desk is not self-existence. But you cannot dismiss the desk completely also. This is a situation. Then maybe it may be a pile of wood. Or let's say wood pulp. Then you have not used the word desk. You must have used the word pile of wood. Wood pulp you would have used, right? But you are using word desk other than pulp or all these things. The pile, etc. Definitely you are appreciating desk clearly in your mind. Not chair, not this, not pile of wood, not pulp, wood pulp, etc. You are definitely appreciating this desk. Means as existent thing, right? You are able to appreciate it. But when you look into further, you find it looks as though wood is, this is non-existent. This is non-existent. Looks. And if it is non-existent like horn, well, you would not have used the word from the beginning. You said Swami M has come, but along with his horn, you won't, because you find it is non-existent. And therefore, so otherwise you would have used, Swami has come along with the horn today, but you never use, means you never appreciate it. You never appreciate it because it is non-existent. But here in case of this, you appreciate. Please understand, this is, the word desk is in transaction other than the wood. Nobody tells, go and sit on the wood. You will definitely say, go and sit on the chair. Take the help of wood, they never say, take the help of table, dining table, this, etc. Take the help of desk, right? Definitely say. Take the help, go and sleep on wood, we won't say. Go and sleep on cot, right? So, it has a reality, some reality. But still, it is not self-existent. Generally, reality and self-existence goes together in my mind, because that's what the question started. Is the desk real? Yes, you said it is real, because it is existent, right? That's how you started. And then we have gone further. Well, it is existent, correct. Is it self-existent or not? No, it is not self-existent, definitely. And it is not a wood pulp or just a pile of wood also, because it is useful. Please understand this very well. To appreciate Vedanta, all this thing is required. Desk is something which is useful also. Therefore, made in a certain way. It's not a pulp, or it is not a pile of some wood. Pile of wood is maybe useful for fire, etc. May not be useful for this purpose. Therefore, if something is useful, therefore made in a certain way, and you appreciate it as existent, and yet it is not self-existent, well, we will have another term called mithya. Could you follow? So this is not an X desk. No, it is not an X desk, right? Right now you are appreciating existent thing, not X. I'm going to come to flower also. Very beautiful yesterday you said, so it gave me some click. This thing has to be told. Very nice. So, having the zero weight and even non-tangibility, etc. also, tangibility and the weight, everything we have given to wood. So it is non-tangible as such, and it has a zero weight also, but yet it is existent. Generally non-tangible and zero weight is non-existent. Generally, like horn, non-tangible and non-existent. It is, zero weight. It is what? Non-existent. But this is existent, yet zero weight, yet non-tangible. Well, then it is not unreal. We'll have to come closer to the reality. Not totally real, not totally self-existent. Self-existent is wood. Well, that's a different thing. Well, it is not like horn also, right? That is the reality. Transactional reality. This is called transactional. This is not a reality in terms of the essence of everything like that. It's for transaction. It is purely, wood is considered as a totally real, like self-existent, totally real. Time being, compared to the desk. And desk is something, is mithya. So we have to account for this kind of an existence, at least. And we have to account for this kind of an existence. We have to account for this kind of a reality, of course. And this reality is referred by the word or a term called mithya. So mithya is an ontological term which you are able to appreciate cognitively. It is nothing, there is no object called mithya. You are able to appreciate, please understand this very well. This is the crux of the bread and butter. Satya mithya is bread and butter of the entire life, in my view. Understanding Satya and Mithya will make you free from all agony in the mind, all kinds of agony. It is just a confusion regarding reality. Honestly, we are coming to the body also. Anyway, so we need to consider reality to the desk, and therefore this reality is referred by the word mithya. And we gave the first definition that what exists, yes, it exists, but depending upon something else. Totally non-existent, one thing. Totally existent on its own, self-existent. That's real. But what is existent, but depending upon something else, is mithya. Clear? And that's our understanding of the reality of an object. And this, I told you, is mithya is a word in your cognition, not outside, not perceptually, etc. So what is Tattva Viveka here? It is said, Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya. And Atma is Satyam, self-existent. Other than everything is existent, but depending upon the self-existent. Right? Wood is self-existent, desk is mithya. Wood is satyam, desk is mithya. Means desk is existent, depending upon the existence of wood. And wood is self-existent, satyam. In example. Same way here, our Tattva Viveka is that Atma is the truth, Atma is self-existent, satyam, other than Atma, that is non-self, anatma. They call anatma in Sanskritam. Non-self, anatma. Non-self, and Atma, self. So self is Satyam, and self is equal to I, we will come to know. And other than that, everything is Mithya. That is, there it is existent. Creation is existent, but it has a borrowed existence from the self, like that. Borrowed existence, dependent for existence, same thing. And then I gave you an example of a flower also, in which we did also all these things. Then we took a flower and then we took out. And then you told the name. You have forgotten the word now, flower. When I took out something from that, you said petal, then stamen, then you say pollen. Means so-called flower is nothing but a addition of petal plus stamen plus pollen. Petal is not a flower, otherwise you would have told me that Swamiji, you have removed the flower. You said you have removed petal. Then you have said you have removed Swamiji's stamen. You have removed the pollen. So petal is not a flower, stamen is not a flower, even pollen is not a flower. But somehow when they got together, right, all these parts put together is flower. Clear? So this is a definition of a mithya, that what is put together depending upon various factors. Of course, put together by human being, put together by nature. Well, flower is put together by nature, by Ishvara. So what is put together depending upon various factors is mithya. So we say the flower is mithya, we don't dismiss the flower as such, and it cannot be dismissed as a horn, etc., as a totally non-existent, but neither it can be taken as a self-existent also, because it is nothing but addition of parts only. And every part is not a flower. Every part, just a part is not a flower, right? You have a separate name for that. You have a separate name also for that. If it is a flower, you would not use the another name. No, Swamiji, it's another name, but it is meaningless. No, you cannot say it's meaningless. It's in dictionary. Dictionary does not is not a collection of meaningless words. Therefore, it's a meaningful word. Meaningful word means it has its own meaning, and which you are able to appreciate also, other than the flower. Right? You appreciate something called flower, but when I remove a part of it, you are able to appreciate it separately. It has its own reality kind of a thing. Anyway, so flower is not self-existence because it is depending upon for existence on what? On petals, etc. On pollen, on stamen, etc. It is depending for existence, and therefore it is not self-existence. It is not even non-existence, otherwise you would not have used give me flower. Then it's like giving me a horn, right? Give me a horn of Swami M. It's not there, Swamiji. What can I do? So you in transaction, for any non-existent will not be used in transaction, right? Transaction means you appreciate, and other person also appreciates the reality of it. And therefore, this is something, not non-existent, not self-existent. If it is self-existent, then even if I remove the parts, you would be able to appreciate flower. But you say, Swamiji, flower is gone, right? So self-existence means whose existence will never come to an end. That's the self-existent thing. Well, it will come to the yourself, on myself, ultimately. But here right now, in terms of a flower, the parts are there, it's all put together, parts has given existence to flower. So flower is not self-existent. Its existence depends upon these three things. And it is not non-existent also. Could you follow? Therefore, existent, but existence depends upon the parts which are put together. Put together, please understand, huh? Not just a pile of all the petals doesn't make flower. You will use, Swamiji, it's a bunch of petals, right? You will use another word, bunch of petals, bunch of pollen. And suppose, no, Swamiji, we should add all other parts also, then it becomes flower. No. If I remove all the petals and keep here, then I remove the stamen. On top of it, I put stamen and some pollen also. And say, look at this flower. Swamiji, what are you talking? It's all bunch of these three things. You will say, bunch of these three things. Means flower is something put together in a certain fashion. And definitely, so far as suppose a human being has made something like that, because everything is going to be mithya ultimately. Whatever even human being has made also is going to be mithya. Anyway, then it is also put together to serve a certain purpose. If you want to, if it should serve a certain purpose, you have to put the parts in a certain fashion. You just cannot make a pile of the things. Pile of the things will not make it will not make a particular thing which can serve a purpose. Therefore, mithya, we have to include everything, but we'll go one by one. Okay, Swamiji, I understood flower is not self-existent. Clear. Parts, petals, etc. are self-existent with respect to that. Okay, so let's say petal is self-existent. This is mithya. Flower is mithya because its existence depends upon this. Okay, fine. Petal is self-existent, Swamiji? Then petal is satyam, which they should have told. Right? Instead of atma satyam, they should have told petal satyam tadanyat sarvam mithya. So tadanyat sarvam means all the flowers are mithya. And the person who is holding the flower also is a mithya. Flower is mithya, only petal is satyam. No. Just with respect to these two things, this is self-existent. When now you inquire into, like you have inquired into flower, please inquire into petal now. Then you will find it is depending upon its existence. Existence of a petal depends upon something else. Its existence again depends upon something else. Its existence depends upon something else. If you continue like that, then you will come to the same definition. Ultimately, whatever the substance, object, whatever it is, it should be self-existent. Right? It should be self-existent. Otherwise, if the inquiry will go on and on. Petal is not self-existent, that's how we got something else, molecules or whatever. Right? Fibers, and then molecules, and then atoms and particles and these. Well, that's correct. But ultimate thing should not be dependent for its existence on something else. Therefore, it should be what? Self-existent. And we'll come to know self is self-existent. Other than self, everything is there. Non-self is not self-existent. Self is self-existent. I remember Swamiji's words. Wonderful things. Self is evident to oneself, and therefore self is called self-evident. Anyway, we'll come to that. I should not be too enthusiastic. Because this is all mithya world, in that we are moving around. Anyway, so we took another example of a shirt to prove instead of a petal, because in petal we cannot go further. And so we took an example of a shirt, and then we showed also that the shirt is an existent thing. Well, but its reality is again like not a self-existent reality, and it is depending upon the fabric. Well, then the fabric is called Satyam, and this has become Mithya, right? Dependent existence. And then fabric also is turned out to be Mithya because its existence is dependent upon Yan. Yan is considered self-existent or Satyam, and then we found out even the threads or fibers. Fiber again, got twisted and made a yarn. So fibers. And then fibers to molecules. Molecules to, so molecule becomes Satyam. Fiber become Mithya, etc. And that is how it goes on and on. And ultimately, whatever it may be, should be self-existent, right? Then lastly, whatever comes. Why we are not going? Because it is Maya, we need not come to it. And ultimately you have to come to this point only. We'll see that, it is the whole thing. But Swamiji is living, Swamiji doesn't go further. But I definitely am not going further. I take the answer from here right now. That ultimately, whatever the thing is there, whatever thing, if you inquire into, that is called Tattva Viveka, you will come to the self only as a self-existent. Other than that, everything is ultimately Mithya. That is, their existence depend upon the existence of self. So entire world, any object you can take, I am now taking, instead of a shirt or something, I am taking any object. Any object's existence or reality depend upon the self. Why? Because it is said here, Atma Satyam. Atma means self. Self is Satyam. Means self is self-existent. Self is self-existent. Other than that, whatever things are there, all the objects, Tadanyat Sarvam, other than whatever all the things are there, all else will be dependent for their existence on Atma. Therefore, that is Mithya, and Atma of the self is Satyam. When you really appreciate these two things, that non-self is Mithya, self is Satyam, then you have done a discrimination between two in terms of your understanding of reality, which is called Tattva Viveka. Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya Iti Tattva Viveka. That's how it is. So Atma Satyam, that's an opening, and in fact that's a statement. Basically Atma Satyam is, in one or other way, it is a statement of a Upanishad. Tat Satyam Tadat Sa Atma, etc., etc. That is in Chandogya Upanishad also it is there. Tat Satyam. Tat means here they said the entire creation, the cause of the entire creation, that is the Paramatma or the Atma, is Satyam. That has been told in the Upanishad also. So we feel that Acharya here has taken this, a quote from Upanishad. Atma Satyam. What is Atma? That is going to be told, of course, but here let's take right now. Atma is one who experiences everything and in whose presence all experience takes place. Atma is one in whose presence seeing takes place. Atma is one in whose presence talking takes place. Atma is one in whose presence eating takes place, digestion takes place, hearing takes place, thinking takes place. Really, everything takes place. Really, I don't experience anything. Anyway, Atma do not experience, really speaking. The experiencer is a transactional reality, we will come to know. Basically, Atma's nature is just a presence, existence, as we say, in whose presence all these mithya things do their job. So, eating requires, definitely you take help of hand, you take help of, the teeth and tongue and whatnot. And then once it goes in, you definitely, for digestion, you need a stomach, etc. All this do their jobs. All these avayavas, limbs, do their job in my presence. That's a nididhyasana. To arrive at your real nature, this is how you should see. I am an experiencer of everything. is not a really you will come to know the nature of yourself. Nature of yourself, if you want to know, this is how you should do. Seeing takes place in my presence. Thinking takes place in my presence. Hearing takes place in my presence. Going takes place in my presence. Catching takes place in my presence. Everything takes place in my presence. Decision takes place in my presence. I decide. Well, you have not arrived at the reality. You don't decide anything. You are not an agent of an action. Anyway, so in whose presence alone in whose presence not all experience takes place. In whose presence alone all experience takes place. There is nothing else. No other conscious being. You require a conscious being in whose presence every experience takes place. And therefore, the meaning of the word here, Atma, is I. Because I know that I am an experiencer, etc. In my presence, experience takes place. I can appreciate it also. Therefore, Atma, if you are going to give a definition like this, that in whose presence all experience takes place, or Atma is one who is experiencer of everything, well then I experience everything. Okay, then Atma is none other than I. Right? Or you say, no, I don't understand this. Then Atma, the word is in Sanskritam. And it's in English we call it self. And self means really I. That much I can appreciate. When I say I, it is the first person singular. Right? First person singular. When we say Atma, I is called Aham in Sanskritam. That's the first person singular. When you say Atma, it is third person singular. But when you say Atma is self, then self is I. So one was telling like this, that I means Aham, and Atma means a third person. Then how can this third person singular and first person singular are same? Well, here it is same. Word is different. The meaning is same only. And Atma is translated as a self, and self means I only, that much. Because I always say myself, right? Myself. Or you address some other conscious being, you say yourself. But ultimately it is associated with the conscious being who is experiencer of everything. Without conscious being, there is no experience. Right? So conscious being is required to experience, or conscious being's presence is required to have an experience. Either way, ultimately we will have to come to I only. For what? For Atma. Right? Atma Satyam means I am Satyam. I am self-existent. Other than I, everything is depending for existence, depending upon me. Therefore, everything is mithya. I am Satyam. I am self-existent. Everything is not self-existent, dependent existence. They have a borrowed existence from me. I have so much of existence as a wealth that everyone has borrowed from me. I am by nature existence. That's all it means. Anyway, like everyone borrows heat. Anyway, why I am going so fast? But everyone borrows heat from one source, and that keeps giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. Today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Keeps giving and giving and giving and giving. It doesn't have a dearth of heat, right? That is the nature of fire. So if everything, what has gone, what is going to come, what is right now, everything borrows existence from me. And therefore, I am the Satyam, tadanyat sarvam. Whatever is there is mithya. We'll have to understand this. Anyway, so Upanishad tells Atma Satyam, Aham Satyam. And we understood now what is Satyam is self-existent. And based on what we have seen, we can appreciate that Atma is self-existent. But then what about other things? Well, they are not self-existent. They are not independent of the Atma. So Anyat Sarvam, everything else other than Atma is Mithya. So you said something not independent of Atma means what? See, anything borrows an existence cannot be separate from that. That you know very well, right? Cannot be separate. Even a flower. Suppose a flower is a mithya thing. It has a dependent existence on parts called pollen, stamen and petals. Then flower cannot be independent of, cannot be separate of all these three parts. Clear? Same way, other simple example if I take pot and clay. A pot has a dependent existence and clay has an independent existence, then definitely pot is never independent of clay. That's how it is. Pot mithya, clay satyam. That's how it is. Right? In example, clay is satyam, self-existent, pot is dependent existence, has a dependent existence. So, Atma Satyam is Aham Satyam or Atma Satyam, let's keep that way. And other than everything is Mithya. This is a Tattva Viveka, a discriminative analysis and an inquiry leading to this understanding of the truth revealed by the Shruti. Now the self-existent Atma is a Satyam, and but if it is not understood that way, even though it is self-existent, I don't understand that way, I don't appreciate that way. That is how the discrimination is necessary. Otherwise, why discrimination is necessary? Like if I am able to do, like if I tell you pot and clay, you can immediately understand, what is mithya and what is satyam. You might have taken pot as a satyam. People take pot as a satyam. People don't appreciate clay at all. It happened. I told some person that you please clean, you help me in cleaning the room. And then he helped. And then he put that, what is that? Broom. Yeah. With the help of broom, he removed. And then I said, still some clay is there. And again he did. He said, Swamiji, I have done another, once again. Now it is not even a speck of dust or clay is there. I said it is still there. And not there, so much of clay is there. And he literally took this pot like that and put the broom also like that. He is holding the pot and doing that. Pot is appreciated as a pot, not as a clay. This is how it is. The same situation here. What is the situation? See, this self which is really, or Atma which is self-existent is taken for, it is taken for something which is not self-existent. Atma is taken for something which is not self-existent. Something is not self-existent and I take it as a self-existence. Second thing, because it's a confusion. So other part also is there. And what is self-existent in reality called Atma is not in our cognition at all. Can I repeat once again? Atma is taken for something which is not self-existent. And self-existent Atma is not in our cognition at all. We are not able to appreciate it at all. So it is not understood at all by us. So when the self-existent Atma is not understood, then what is understood as a Atma is not self-existent. Could you follow? See, when the self-existent Atma is not understood, then what is understood as Atma is not self-existent. You take something which is really not self-existent, but you take it as a self-existent. And that shows that Atma as such is not appreciated by you. Atma is not at all understood by you as a self-existent thing. That is called confusion. That is the confusion. So in other words, mithya, which is really not self-existent, that is dependent existent, which is mithya, is understood as a real, and real is not at all understood. Real is not at all understood. And that means it is called self-confusion. The confusion with respect to self. Self is self-existent. But it is taken as a Atma is, taken, Atma is taken for something which is really not self-existent. I should put it properly. Atma is taken for something which is not self-existence, which is actually a mithya thing. That mithya thing is taken as a satyam or Atma, and Atma is not at all understood by us. That's called self-confusion. Well, and what is that? Simple. Body. Because as per the definition, Atma Satyam Tad Anyat Sarvam Mithya. But for me, body is a Atma. And now we'll able to understand when we do analysis that body is not Atma. Atma is Atma. What is that Atma will come in the next this one passage. But this body is not Satyam. Body is not Atma. We have to understand first. Then when we say Tad Anyat Atma Satyam means this is Satyam, other than this body, everything is Mithya. But if you appreciate even this as a non-self, Mithya thing, then you will be able to, because the definitions which we have given for Mithya should apply to body. Then we can put it from the Satya category to the Mithya category. So means Tadanyat means other than the self, I should include even body into that. Could you follow? I include the whole world, but I don't include body. We always say like that, everything is Mithya. We never say from here like that. We never do like this. We say this is Mithya. Means this is considered, this is self-confusion. What is Mithya is taken as a Satyam. What is not self-existent is taken as a self-existent. What is non-self is taken as a self. What is anatma is taken as a atma. That's a confusion. Okay, so see, if you start the inquiry, you will find that you are there, means with the body, that's called I, and other than everything else. Even this is not I, right? This is not I. Because in my introduction or in my visiting card, business cards, I never put that I am Jibba, I am a bush shirt or something. I never, so even though I am associated with it all the time, 24 hours, but I know, and so I never use for this. See, I use word this, right? I never use word I for this. For this. It is this. And other than this, everything, dermis, epidermis and whatever inside, everything is self. Everything is self. That's an understanding person has when he comes to Vedanta. And Vedanta starts from here actually. That which will make a discrimination that what you consider as a self-existent thing, what you consider as a self, what you consider as a satyam, what you consider as a atma is anatma. Body also, like any other object, body also falls in the category of mithya, body falls in the category of non-self, body falls in the category of anatma, etc., etc. Body also is not self-existent. Atma alone is self-existent. Atma Satyam. Okay. Now, if the body is Atma, let's inquire into. If the body is Atma, then what does the body become in terms of reality? Satyam. Right? Because Atma Satyam has been told. Atma Satyam. Now you say body is Atma. A body is Atma. Then body becomes real. If this body is real, then you cannot say body is Atma and therefore it is real. Tad Anyat Sarvam. Other than whatever is there is Mithya. Other than this body, everything is Mithya. You cannot tell. Because as this body is Satyam, this body also is Satyam. This body also Satyam. This body is Satyam. This body is Satyam. Every body is a Satyam. So therefore that statement cannot be right. if Atma is a body, and that is Satyam, then other than that everything is Mithya cannot be told, because the status of this body is the status of other body. The reality of this body is the reality of other body. Therefore, if you tell it as a real, then other bodies are also equally real. Right? Then you become chota real, small real. And other than that, whatever is there, also real. And that real you cannot compare. Vast. Right? Whole universe, different bodies. This is also body. This is also body. This is also body. This is also body. Everything body. Why can you, how are you saying this is body? You don't know, you can't make us full. Yeah, well, this is made up of 5 elements. And this is also made up of 5 elements. So then what is the difference? Maybe a proportion may be here different. Here the proportion may be, here water may be more, here water may be less. Right? Here the fire may be a little more, here may be less. But it's ultimately 5 elements. Entire universe is made up of 5 elements. Well then, if this 5 elements is Satyam, our body is Satyam, everything else becomes Satyam. Then you are small Satyam. You are Atma, small Satyam. Entire universe is Satyam. That Satyam we cannot compare with. This Satyam is bigger than this Satyam. It's so vast, not available for comparison. Anyway, then the world becomes overwhelming. That's how it is. That's how it is. The world is too much for us. Sometimes we want to forget the world. That's how. That's how people want to forget, by going to sleep or by doing something. They want to forget because the world is overwhelming. Swamiji, wherever I go, I always see problems and problems and problems. They say like that. Wherever Swamiji I go, I always see problems and problems. World is too much. Okay, the world is too much. So, because whole thing is real, because you have given this body as a reality, well, then everything you will see as a real. I need not say everything becomes real. You see everything real. That's how it is. Whatever your understanding about yourself, that's your understanding about the world. I always see the world in terms of I have measured myself. If I measure myself in terms of intelligence, I see in the world the people, or I'm in search of the people who are intelligent. Or I will try to see the intelligence, not any other thing in other person. If somebody sees himself or herself in terms of a beauty, he will always look for beauty. This is beautiful, that is not beautiful, etc., etc. So the way you measure yourself, you measure the world. That's how it is. This is how it is. So you measure yourself in terms of a body only. Atma is body only, and that is the reality, Atma Satyam. Well, then everything also will automatically be Satyam. And when it becomes Satyam, it is overwhelming to you. That's how it is. So here I'm in a confusion, and according to the Shastra. And so Shastra says Atma is Satyam. Now if body is taken as Atma, body is Satyam, we have to prove. We will fall apart when we try to prove body is Satyam. And therefore if we cannot prove, body also will go to the category of a flower. Well, then flower is Mithya, we have already proved. Then body also will become Mithya. Then definitely body is not Satyam. If it is Mithya, means it is not Satyam, then body is not Atma. Then Atma is what? That is a different thing. That comes later. So let's start that. Same way, just think, like a flower, the body. See, to prove the Mithyatvam of a flower, what did I do? I removed certain parts. And each part was not a flower. Right? You have a separate word. Meaningful word. Meaningful word means that particular object is the meaning, for which you have used the word petal. Right? So, petal is a part of the flower, but yet petal is not the flower. That's how we have to go. Same way like that. So, this human body, start. What is a petal? Like a nail. Is the nail a body? No. Nail is not a body. Nail is nail. Body is body. Nail has a meaning. Whenever there is a nail, if the nail is a body, wherever there is a nail, you will say, hey, it is human body. Then somebody will tell you, get corrected. Yeah. Yeah, you will say, oh, nails, some people, cut the nail and then it is flying there. You say, you remove this. In India, it is called ashuchi. What happens, this is just by the way. This, whenever you cut the nail or a person cuts the hair, then the body becomes ashuchi, impure. You will have to take bath. That's how it is. So this is in Dharma Shastra. So if one person goes to barber shop or something and get cut, then he comes and eats and touch everywhere. It can't be done. Like you suppose somebody goes to crematorium or something, burial ground, and then in India, because the body has become impure by touching the dead body, etc., and therefore you have to take bath. And say how important it is not to spread the corona, etc. It's so important. In Hindu Shastra, whatever has been told is so important. I sent to our Chitraji one few things that, we were following those things, and then people used to say, hey, they were laughing at. And now it has turned true. Washing the hands and this and that. And anyway, but so this is how it is. So nail is a nail. If nail is a body, I would not appreciate in terms of nail. I would say body. And wherever there is nail, I will say body. But I definitely appreciate distinctly nail other than the body. Right? Other than the body. And therefore, you can cut the nail and suppose, throw it away also. You won't say it is a body. Nail is not a body. Then a finger is not a body. We need not cut the finger, but then it is to be understood. Then dermis is not a body. We have separate words. Like the petal, stem and pollen are separate words. Means they are different objects. There is a corresponding, there is a relationship between a word and in a meaning of a word. One-to-one relationship. Sometimes there are words which are, synonymous words. That's correct. Synonymous words are there, but they are not synonymous also. Like nail and body are not synonymous words, right? These words, nail, N-A-I-L and B-O-D-Y, these nail and body words are not synonymous, indicating one object. No, definitely not. That's how someone says that I polish my nails. Nobody says I polish my body. No one says I polish my body. So they have a distinct appreciation. Please understand, like a desk only. This is happening like a desk. You are able to appreciate the reality of the desk, yet you cannot arrive at an independent entity called desk. That is the thing. That's the thing. You appreciate in transaction, but you cannot arrive at independently. So that's how it is. Anyway, so a finger is not a body, dermis is not the top, dermis is top layer of the skin is not a body, epidermis, which is a lower layer, is not a body, flesh is not a body, blood is not a body, bone is not a body, marrow is not a body. Then you remove everything, like I have removed. Then minus all these things. What is body? It is not there. Okay, it is not body. Then you combine everything. Put lump, everything. And how it is to be done, garnishing, etc., I don't want to say. It is not a body. Swamiji, it is, every part is not body, but you mix up its body. No, it's not a body. Like, I told you, a pile of wood is not a desk. Or a wooden pulp is not a desk. Same amount of wood you take, which I am calling right now as a desk. You take the same amount and make a pulp kind of a thing. Or you make a pieces of this and make a heap of, the wood. You won't call it as a desk. You say it is a heap of wood, pulp of wood. Could you follow? Yeah, this is how it is. And therefore, body is what? Without these parts. minus all these parts called dermis and these and blood, and what is body? It's not there. Without pollen, this and stem and this petals, what is flower? Oh Swamiji, there is no flower. So when all these things, petals, etc., put together in a certain fashion, we call it flower. Flower has no independent existence, right? Flower's existence is borrowed from the parts. In a certain fashion, again, in a certain fashion when you put together, then existence of flower comes, not just a pile. And therefore, same way here all these things put together, 6 liters of blood and everything, they call it. It's too much. So ultimately it is not, it's so wonderful thing, till it is having a good packing. Anything under packing appears good. We have in India, when, the Diwali, we have the Deepavali festival, very big festival. Then people used to give the gifts to each other, in which generally dry fruit box or some our sweets, etc., and then wrap properly and beautifully, and then write also some with best compliments and these, then give it. And those things should never be eaten, even if they are all dry or nuts, or if they are sweets, because Diwali is a time when they, all these shopkeepers, they take out their old stocks and they fill up, and then they wrap up and give up. So that was a time when people used to eat that, and then they fall sick also, because it's not a good thing. But under the packing, even a dirty thing appears good. Same thing here. How do you say? Anything which comes out of the body, you don't like. I don't want to go. So under packing, everything is good. Under packing, everything is good. That is how Bhagavan has given a very beautiful layer, 6 layers of packing. And the top layer, called dermis, is really we love, right? People spend hours and hours and dollars. I saw one day in some supermarket here in Costco or somewhere, people spend time, what a time, for everything. I think for nail polish also, and giving the shape, and then here also some like yarn-like thing. Fibers get, curves, and then on dermis. We should know that we are what, decorating is ultimately, anyway. So body is mithya. Now like a flower is mithya. That's all it means. If body is mithya, then definitely it is told Atma is Satyam. And body is mithya. Therefore, body is not Atma. Body has gone from the status of Atma to the status of Anatma. From the Satyam, it has gone to Mithya. So Atma Satyam tad anyat sarvam. Atma, the self, is Satyam. Other than the self, everything is Mithya. You include body also. That's what it means. Now, this is our crude way of looking. But Upanishad goes by dignity. And Upanishad presents this body in a different model. What is that model? We'll have to stop, because 5 minutes in, you have that session, yes. Okay, no problem. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.